We're never going to make that person happy. That's a 6-month monoline auto that's always late paying. Never. There's no amount of willpower in the world that will make that person happy. So don't even try. Hi, everybody. So I wanted to walk through some of our time management tips that we give out during our agency efficiency training. We sort of have these philosophies of every one of our programs. So we have sales, we have retention, we have wow service, and we have our time management program, our agency efficiency. And so we kind of walk through and help people give these core philosophies. And we repeat them throughout the program. And it's funny because people are saying, well, I've already learned that. I'm like, learning and practicing it are two different things. Remember, it takes an adult to hear the same thing 22 times before we remember it. So I'm going to just kind of walk through some of them with you. And maybe this is a great podcast to share with your team or share the video so that way you get a little bit more into the weeds of managing your desk and managing your day, because it is possible. So first one is always eat the frog. Eat the frog is a great one because it talks a little bit about how do you do the hardest thing first in your day. So the premise of eat the frog is, imagine you have to eat a live, ribbiting, slimy frog, or something terrible is going to happen to the person you love the most or your pet. I had to add the or your pet in because some people just don't like people. It's true. And pets are pretty great. But that forces you to say, what's that thing you're doing? Maybe calling a client about a non-renewal or a claim not being handled or a complicated quote or a renewal call or someone's rate doubled. The best thing you can do is just do it first thing of the day, get it over with, and then it doesn't grow in your head. It doesn't become more and more complicated. Another item that we have, and that we like, I mean, people are like all over the eat the frog thing. It's really funny. People will go like, I just ate my frog. And they kind of resonate with the idea of don't get into your email, don't get into your activities, get right into the hardest thing. And that freaks other people out because they want to get into their email. They want to clear out the small stuff, but that just keeps coming in all day long. Next up that we have, which is our 2-minute rule. So if it takes 2 minutes, you do it and you document it. It comes across your radar screen. Maybe it's a phone call or an email or just something that's really, really simple. The reason that you want to take the 2-minute rule is so much of our day, we take this small stuff and then we push our activities over. And this is your way your team can start really working off their management system. So 2 minutes, do it, document it, more than two, document it and schedule it out to do. Another one that I love is what we call acting like an ER nurse. If we act like a deli counter, you serve the next thing in line. An ER nurse is constantly looking for the best use of their time. And so we need to make sure that we're always looking at the next best use of our time, not just serving number 37. Sometimes people have a lot of confusion on what the next best thing is to do. And that's part of our agency efficiency program, where we will actually go through and help people with that. How do we identify the biggest priorities? Every management system is different, but most of them do have the ability on your activities to put, high, urgent, low, and that will help you out dramatic, just a 100%. So consider that as an opportunity and an option. The next one that I like to go through, and I'm not gonna be able to go through all of them today, you do need to check out our agency efficiency course because it's just awesome. But the next one we like to go through is how to stop using the B word. The B word to me, and I apologize, I'm going to swear. And I know that's something that people don't love, but it's swearing for me. It's not swearing for you. Just so you're in the know, okay? The B word is busy. And I can't stand this word. I think it's a grievance when someone says I'm so busy. It is not positive. It is not happy. It is not something where we're all excited. It instead is a grievance. And we hear people use all the time. And one of the things that it does, if you listen to my last podcast last week about delegation, is it actually makes it so that people don't feel comfortable delegating because everyone's so busy. You'll hear this a whole lot, right? Well, everyone's so busy. Everyone's so busy. And I always just like to say, hey, you know what? Yep, people are busy. People are definitely busy, and that's okay. But I've been busy in the morning and then freed up in the afternoon. So it's not an accurate terminology. What it is instead is just letting people mouth off and talk about how busy they are. So then everybody's busy. Now we have kind of like the plague, right? The group thing starts sinking in. So instead, we're productive today. That's a positive statement. That's a power statement. It says, I'm not going to let this day kick my butt. I'm kicking its butt, and it better watch out. So I love that idea of getting rid of that word. Couple there. The next one I want to talk to everybody about was by when. So commonly we hear a lot of frustration of, I don't know what the priority is. I've got all this coming at me. How do I know what's the priority? The owner wants a quote, and then this person needs something. Oh, and then the phone call rings, and I just feel exhausted all day. So we always ask people, and we also ask people giving people work, okay, both sides, to go ahead and instead do this thing saying by when. So if I gave some of my team something, I'd say by when, I need this by this date. If somebody got something from me and it didn't have that, they should say, Kelly, by when do you need this? Same thing with clients. Now, when we mention this to staff, all they say is, everybody's going to want it right now. Everybody's going to want it right now. And I say, you know what? Amazingly, if you ask, you find the opposite, or you recalibrate their expectations. But if their expectation was they were getting it right now and you can't do it right now, you've got a bigger problem on their hands because we just dropped a big old client ball, right? So the buy when is so huge, such an awesome opportunity to really identify what is the true priority and not assume, which we do all too much. Another one that we have is price and remarketing and not getting ourselves, I'll use a Stephen Harrington Dakota word, Twitter pated about price. In this market, price has become more and more of a challenge, but there's also plenty of people who've taken the rate and never called in, never said boo, didn't care. So I know you're getting some feisty phone calls, and I think we're taking the shock of it. You see it, and you're like, oh. The whole thing is you didn't create the price, so don't let it get to you. Instead, educate, recommend, and let the person make the best decision. But you're not going to be able to control this, and you're not going to make people feel good about the prices. This is not Disney World, I like to say. The whole goal is not to feel good. The whole goal is to protect people, and that's what the market's dictating. So if you're jammed up about price and remarketing, that's okay. But take a big old deep breath and realize the only thing you do is educate and let them make a decision. Educate, let them make a decision. And all the nasty, vile names they call you along the way just means they're reacting and they're having a rough day. And we could still love them harder. Now, the next one's important because I think this is one that people spend a lot of time on. And sometimes people need to be given permission. But it also is one of those things where I think it's such big muscle memory from the past that it is going to need very, very much to be taken in a different direction. So, what do I mean by that? There's high service, low premium clients that we spend way too much time on. And then there's higher premium, low service clients that actually we underserve because we're so B-word going after those low level ones. So, in between, what you need to be thinking about is, okay, I have a client. They are high service, low premium, and they're calling me up and they're thinking about buying one of 5 vehicles. What do I do? Well, I would probably just say it's going to be about this range. Let me know what you want to do. You have to optimize your time. Or the people who call in every 6 months demanding to be reshopped. I've reviewed it and you're with the best company that we have. Done. Or the person who calls 4 times a day and you're going to jump on it because you want to get them off your plate, but that's not really what we should do. What we should do instead is get to the next one. Again, ER nurse, right? So we really, really have to be careful that we're not over servicing our worst customers and that we can fire customers. And then we have to spend our time getting proactive out to the best customers that really need us, that we want the referrals from, that they would cross sell, that they would just with a little conversation be delighted. We're never going to make that person happy. That's a 6-month monoline auto that's always late paying. Never. There's no amount of willpower in the world that will make that person happy. So don't even try. Our next one is Delegate to Elevate, which again was a podcast we just did, which I think was great. It was just how to really get delegation started. If you're looking at your job description and you're doing parts of somebody else's job description, we're still not in a good scenario. We're actually in a very bad scenario. And so when the agency creates job descriptions and tells you this is the lane to swim in, that's where you need to be. You do not need to be doing other people's jobs because of delegation fears or trust issues or, oh, well, my customer only wants me to touch their file or, oh, it takes me just as long to get it to them. All of the reasons. Delegate to elevate. Work within your job. And, don't be pushing your work off to other people and just do what you're asked to do because there's a reason why all that's been set up. It's been set up to be awesome. People, awesome. So these are just a handful of our tips on how to delegate and how to make sure that you're in track to really manage your time. But I tell people this all the time. Time is our biggest asset. And if we can be more efficient, we don't have to hire, we have higher profit margins, we can have a better trained team. We need entry level roles in agencies to train people up. But most importantly, most agencies do not want you to feel burned out and overwhelmed on your way home. They want to empower you with some of the strategies we just talked about today so that you can be successful. But it is important to understand that if your agency is working below the best practices of revenue per team member, then something's off and something is wrong. Okay. Off and wrong, off and wrong. And you have to question yourself at that point, kind of thinking through, well, why in the world would what other agencies be able to do this, not, and I can't do this? That's a challenge of becoming more and more and more efficient. And when you become more and more and more efficient, actually become more and more and more effective. So don't go ahead and think twice about it. Embrace these time management strategies. They'll make your day better. It'll also help you be more efficient. And don't just think the only way it's going to get better is when we hire more people. More people need training. And then you have to delegate. And the whole thing starts spinning around and around and around. Challenge yourself to be the most efficient team member on the team. And if your team needs help, call us. We have our whole agency efficiency program or agency assessment to identify roles and responsibilities. But sometimes people hearing this from another party makes a big difference. So we will go ahead and see you in the next podcast. Thanks for listening today.